بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. غرفة عمليات فجر الحرية، اكتشاف نفق حزب PPK الإرهابي تحت الأرض
في منطقة سد الشهباء.
الله أكبر.
الله أكبر.
يتواجد فيه قاعة اجتماعات وغرف وسجون. هون اللي احنا بالجزء اللي لسه بتجهز هلا جديد. هلا راح ناخذكم على الجزء اللي مجهز. الله أكبر. هذه قاعة اجتماعات. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. تفضل. يلا نكمل معكم. الله أكبر.
يلا شباب.
الله أكبر. هون مطعم. الله أكبر. الله أكبر.
غرفة عمليات فجر الحرية.
الله أكبر. هذا مطبخ. هذا كله جوات النفق. هذا كله جوات النفق. ايه الله أكبر.
Syrian insurgents captured 4 new towns early Tuesday, bringing them closer to the central city of Hama, opposition activists said, while government forces retook some territory they lost last week. The capture of the towns is the latest in the push by insurgents led by the Salafi Jihadi Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, as well as Turkey-backed opposition fighters. Insurgents now are about 10 kilometers, 6 miles, from Hama, the country's 4th largest city. The latest push is part of a wide offensive by forces opposed to Syrian President Bashar Assad that over the past days has captured large parts of the northern city of Aleppo, Syria's largest, as well as towns and villages in southern parts of the northwestern Idlib province. The insurgents' military operations administration said gunmen killed 50 government forces as they captured the central towns of Halfaya, Taibat, Al-Imam, Mardis, and Soran. The British-based Syrian Observatory for Human Rights and Opposition War Monitor confirmed that the towns were taken. The pro-government Dama Post media outlet reported intense clashes in and around the towns, adding that Syrian troops are firing artillery shells at insurgents in the area. State media reported intense airstrikes by Syrian and Russian air forces in the area. Both Observatory and pro-government media outlets reported that Syrian government forces on Tuesday captured the village of Hanassa days after losing it. Hanassa sits on one of the roads that lead to Aleppo. The long war between Assad and his foreign backers and the array of armed opposition forces seeking his overthrow has killed an estimated 500,000 people over the past 13 years. To the east, the Kurdish-led Syrian Democratic Forces said in a statement that they captured 7 villages from pro-government fighters. Syrian state media, however, denied that the villages were captured by the US-backed SDF saying that the attack was repelled. The villages are closer to a base housing US troops in the area that is close to Iraq. Also Tuesday, Hakan Fidan, the foreign minister of Turkey, which is a main backer of groups opposed to Assad, said the recent rapid advance by insurgents in Syria shows that the Syrian president must reconcile with his own people and hold talks with the opposition. Assad and officials in his government say all armed groups in opposition-held parts of Syria are terrorists and has rejected any political solution with them.
The events in Syria may end in the defeat of the current regime if Assad does not receive help from the Russian Federation. Russian Armed Forces General Alexander Chayko, who once led the failed operation to capture Kiev in 3 days, will be appointed commander of the Russian group in Syria. This is encouraging information for the Syrian rebels, since the unsuccessful Russian general may repeat his failure on another front entrusted to him. The Moscow Times writes that this gives hope to those who liberated Aleppo that they will be able to reach Damascus. Recall, while Russia and Iran are busy fighting on their borders, the Syrian dictator Bashar al-Assad, which they support, has been unable to contain the attack by Islamist rebels. Thousands of rebels led by al-Qaeda splinter group Hayat Tahrir al-Sham entered Aleppo, Syria's second-largest city with a population of 2 million. Pictures and videos posted on opposition-linked social media showed them raising a flag in the city center and posing at the airport, the Financial Times reported. The offensive began from northwestern Syria's Idlib province, and by the end of the week the rebels had captured Aleppo to the east and dozens of other towns in the province, and had advanced towards the major city of Hama to the south, claiming to have captured at least 4 towns in Hama province. The Syrian military leadership denies this information and scares the rebels with the Russian army, which, according to them, will soon help them carry out a counteroffensive, covering them from the air. Bloomberg reported that conflicts in Syria always flare up when Russia and Iran are busy with their own business, fighting with other countries. It also said that Assad should not count on help from his allies since neither Russia nor Iran has time for him now. Since 2020, the situation in Syria has been fairly stable. Now, Russia and Iran are busy fighting wars with their neighbors, Ukraine and Israel, respectively, in which they are suffering huge losses. Russia is asking Turkey for help in resolving the crisis, Asia and Middle East expert Elena Supanina says, while Iran's influence in Syria has weakened as a result of Israel's devastating military campaign against Hezbollah and the intensification of Israeli airstrikes on Syrian territory. Moscow, meanwhile, now sees no need to sharply increase the level of support for Assad, Supanina believes.